Welcome to Don't Sweat It, the podcast, the place where men drop the mask and speak their truth.
Sweat stands for speak with emotion and trust, because real strength starts with real conversations.
We're diving deep into mental health, addiction, sobriety, and all the emotions we're told to bury.
No sugarcoating, no tough guy act, just raw stories and unfiltered chats.
So lean in, open up, and let's do this together.
Because gentlemen, it's time to sweat it out.
So today's guest, he don't just spit bars, he rewrites the limits. A lyrical machine, a record breaker, powerhouse presence in the drum and bass scene, and a man who's carved out a legacy that blends speed, substance and soul. He's worked with legends, become one himself, and continues to evolve. From dominating raves and pouring truth into his upcoming hip-hop album, Odyssey, whether you caught him on stage with SAS, going bar for bar with Skibadee and Stormin, or setting world records with Animal, you've witnessed absolute greatness. But beyond the accolades, there's depth. There's a man who's faced the spotlight, the pressure, the pain of losing close friends, and stood tall. Someone who's passionate, not just about music, but about message, about mental health, about legacy, and about realness. So ladies and gentlemen, this is more than an interview. This is a journey into the mind of one of the UK's most elite MCs. Please welcome Harry fucking Shotta.
Hey. What an intro, bro.
What an intro.
You want to come and work for the PR team? Like? What's going on? I need you on board, man.
He's good, isn't he?
He's a good write-off. I like that, man.
But everything that he said there's spot on.
I like that. He encapsulated a lot of sort of what people know about Harry Shotta, but man, you put some nice sauce in there as well, man. Got me feeling good for this interview now.
You're welcome, man. I had to rizz it up a little bit.
Yeah, come on, man. No, I respect that, brother. It's good to be here, man. Like, me and Gizla have been talking for a while, so, you know, things happen at the right time and all that. So I know you lot have been doing your thing. I've been catching some of the clips. So yeah, it's good to be here to talk to you guys today, man.
Yeah, and we're lovely. We're happy to have you in here, man. Honestly, I've been on at you for a while. When we're making this happen,
He has been on it, don't they?
He's been telling me, he's like, I'm working on him. But look, we're making it happen, and we're so happy that you're down here. So thank you for taking the time out to come. So I'm gonna go straight into it. I want to go into a bit of your background, so your early life and your foundations.
Yeah.
We're going to talk about your formative years and your musical influences, if you don't mind.
Yeah, that's cool, man.
So you grew up in Gravesend, Kent?
Yeah, well, I was actually born in Essex.
That's where I live now.
Chapel St Mary, Grays, Essex. I was born there.
Okay.
Yeah, my parents split up when I was 6. I moved to Aylesbury with my dad. And I was there from 6 to 11. Then when I was 11, I moved to Gravesend.
Right.
So all my kind of teenage years, you're right, and my adult years have been around the Gravesend, Kent area, man. But that was where I would live before that, and that's where I was born, man.
So Chadwell St Mary's not far from where I live now. I've done the opposite. I grew up in Woolwich, round them ways, Erith, and then moved to Essex with my wife. Moved over that way, and I'm not far from Chadwell St Mary, and I know the area quite well.
Yeah.
But you originally found should we say you found solace in like 90s hip hop?
Yeah,
sort of thing?
100%, man, 100%. Like that was like, to me, a golden era of hip hop, man. Like, everyone was very versatile back then as well.
Yeah.
You know, there was like, you had groups like, let's say, like a Cypress Hill, then you had a Black Sheep and a Black Moon and a Smith & Wesson, and no one was sort of copying each other, whereas...
There's so much originality compared to what it's like nowadays. Everyone, like, you even take it back to fucking DMX and people like that. Everyone had their own unique pattern.
They made their own mark, didn't they? They had their own, exactly that.
And it's I find it very generic now. But obviously there's still people that do it. Like, there's feel like Ocean Wisdom, and there's people that do
there's loads.
Stand alone.
Like, yeah, you just got to dig a little bit deeper now. Whereas back then, the mainstream was all these really talented, diverse artists, you know what I mean? And that's kind of what inspired me back in the day, man. But obviously, music for me as well was always like, I don't know, like a safe place in a way, man. Do you know what I'm saying? Because certain madness was going on, family-wise, and all that kind of stuff, man. So I would always just be in my room, listening to these tunes, just getting lost in the music, man. I used to listen to people like Mobb Deep, and I feel like I was in Queensbridge, you know what I mean? Or Wu-Tang, and I'd be in Shaolin, or later on when I got into UK rap, listen to people like Skinny Man and Kalashnikov, you know, I was being exposed to their world as you know what I mean? Because them guys are amazing, man. Do you know what I mean? And those guys helped me through some turbulent times. exactly, bro.
Best album,
Yeah.
personally.
So
best.
sick.
That is like that
So
album.
sick.
Skinny, like for Skinny Man is fucking. That is iconic, man.
Another great duo, Task Force.
Yeah, big up Chester P, man.
Yeah.
That was like watching those two back in the day with Chester. It was the way he held a crowd,
Oh,
man.
yeah.
He's like absolutely a beast on the stage, man. And
We was obsessed, weren't we, with Task Force?
Task Force.
Yeah, man.
Yeah.
And it's mad because Chester, like, actually, like, probably about 3 or 4 years ago, he messaged me to sort of, just big me up, like, loving what I was doing. I was like, wow, this is one of the people that inspired me, is now telling me that he's getting vibes off what I'm doing. We actually linked around his yard. We wrote a few records together. Do you know what I'm saying?
That's fucking sick.
And then Chester's obviously had to step away from music.
Yeah.
Everyone knows the story. So at the moment, he's not actually doing music. So those records are not out, but maybe in the future, still keep in touch with his girlfriend and stuff and check
Farms
up
is
on him
having
and
it out at
that.
the minute.
But Farmer G,
Farmer's fucking
Farmer
pushing it
G's
out.
got the new project on High Focus, which is like family now, and he produced a track on my new album. So yeah,
It's mad, bro.
Yeah.
That's so sick. It's mad that you've gone full circle, because it's like you've come from the hip hop. You've gone into the drums, and now you've
Absolutely
and not
smashed it.
You're not only has he just gone into the hip hop, he's gone into High Focus, bro.
Yeah.
That's like the pinnacle.
I know.
Do you know what I mean?
That's mad.
Crazy.
How would you say artists of that era though influence your lyrical style and
Yeah, I was always someone like, because I know some people back in the day, and I had a lot of friends like this, they'd only get into one style of hip hop or one style of MC. So if they was into, say, Task Force, they'd only listen to like UK rap, and I don't like none of that Dirty South, like Ludacris, and I listen to it all,
Everything,
man.
yeah.
Yeah, and that's why I think my style is quite versatile, and that's why I do the double time. That's
Yeah.
why I can slow it down. That's why I can get deeper, because I've studied everybody, not just different art, not just one style of MC. I've studied all the styles, even the ones who aren't that lyrical. Sometimes they're bringing a flow and a pattern that is like you can put that into something, and then combine that with the more lyrical thing, and combine that with an influence of, say, grime, and then even bashment, and then you've got a style that no one else is really doing, because everyone else is a bit more like, not everyone, but a lot of people have a bit more tunnel vision in their style.
Like there's some you can hear the grime aspects to your bars as well. Like obviously, me and you rocked the set, didn't we? And where was that? But that weed cab.
Birmingham, shout out to Temper, man.
That was fucking
Big up
wild,
Temper
bro.
all day, yeah.
It was mental. Like when we got told it was a weed cab, I thought it was like going to be a vape shop or something. Went there and it was a full-on proper.
That was crazy, man.
Yeah,
Like,
Amsterdam
But
style.
as I say, you can hear that in your bars. You can hear them elements of grime. Like even bashment, you've got a few sort of bashment bars, innit? Like, you
of
dropping
course,
that,
man. I love all that,
So
man.
you've
you
took
know?
bits, like, and that's what's made you who you are. And when
The
you talk about
master of your
double time,
craft.
your double time's not double time, bruv. You're like triple time shit. Like,
Well, it goes back to like sort of with MCing. I just think you just always got to be pushing your own personal levels. Do you know what I'm saying? So like once you can spit fast, let's try and take it to a triplet style.
Yeah.
Let's try and take it to the next level of double time. I'm just always trying to push myself, man.
You've definitely done that.
And I just
man.
try and compete with myself as well. I get inspired by other people, but I've always been one of them people that doesn't feel envious of other people's success. Or I'm inspired if someone's doing well, or I hear a wicked style that someone's doing, and I'll just listen to it and take my own little flavour on it and do my own version of it. Do you know what I mean? I'm always trying to get better, man, because there's always room for improvement.
Always
I'm telling
room
you,
for
there's
improvement.
always room for that you can just go up a notch on a record, or you can just take it to a new level. I never play safe. I say it sometimes. We was talking about Iron Lung earlier, who's like, a good friend of mine, and he engineers all my sessions, but I also do a lot of music with him with Triple Threat and stuff like that. And I always say to him in the studio, I've made it hard for myself again. I know it's going to take a while to do this one, Lung, but it'll be worth it, because some of the flows are so intricate and so mad that I could have made it easy for myself, but I don't want to do that. I want to make it hard for myself, even if it takes me like half hour to do a verse that I could do in probably 5 minutes. If I made it easier for myself, I want to push myself and
you
take
like
it
the
to that level.
challenge.
Yeah, I love the challenge,
But
man.
why are you going to make it easy for yourself when you can create something that is that much better by not making it easy on yourself?
Yeah,
so,
yeah. I
so
guess
you're always searching for more improvement or a better standard.
Yeah, and that goes back to sort of never losing a passion for it, man. Like some people, they lose the passion for it, but they still have to do it because it's their job.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like, whereas me, I'm lucky enough to still have the passion and the love for it, but it also be the job. It does, it does pay the rent. Do you know what I'm saying?
Yeah.
But I'm not doing it for that. I've never done it for that. That's been a bonus to be able to, do it 24/7. Do it all week and totally focusing on the craft. I never did it for that. But it's just a bonus when the money comes and the other elements come with it. Do you know what I mean?
No, I hear you, man. Listen, you got MCs this is my personal view. You got MCs, you got lyricists, but then you got wordsmiths. Do you know what I mean? And you're fucking all three of them, bruv.
I appreciate it, bro.
No, you
Like,
are.
it's what I always say to people. It's for people like you to say, man. People like you listen to the music. But you mentioned wordsmith. That's what Spider calls me, innit?
Is it?
He says like you're the wordsmith of the scene because like obviously you said man's all free, but it's definitely something. I love words. Even in school, man. There's one subject I love was English, innit?
Yeah.
I used to like creative writing and all that kind of thing, and I've always been fascinated with words and not using the obvious words, and you know trying to flip not just the obvious rhymes but multi-syllable rhymes into things. You know what I mean? All that kind of stuff, man. I've always been into that. So
It's a proper talent, and it is a proper talent. So
yeah, man. It's just I just love it, man. So gonna keep it moving. Yeah.
So you originally, your transition was from hip hop to drum and bass, and I've got this down. I knew about your background, but I did a little bit of more digging. So we just say I had to go into the culture side of things. And there was a performance at Notting Hill Carnival in 2008.
Yeah, that's right, man.
That
Yeah.
steered you towards the drum and bass scene.
Yeah.
What was it about that experience that catalyzed like the shift? Like how did you?
What it was like, I was making hip hop, but I was hanging around with Fun a lot. MC Fun, shout out to Fun, Uncontrollables, Ruffy, all the crew.
Uploading.
Exactly. So I was hanging around with Fun. I was just chilling with him. It's just friends. I've known that guy. We made a hip hop record together when I was 15. I think he was 19. Do you know what I mean? We've known each other long. I know his cousin. You know, I've been around his yard.
Fun's a
I
gentleman,
know
man.
Fun well. Do you know what I mean? Really well. Do you know what I mean? R.I.P. Kai One as well. I knew his brother really well. I know his circle. Do you know what I mean? And he was always saying to me, you always in the drum and bass rave, because I was a proper raver, man. I used to go like Thursday, sometimes Friday, Saturday. Even if there was a little Pyromaniacs thing on a Sunday, I'd be in there. You know what I mean? I was heavily into the scene, locking on to Cool. I was a big fan of it. Do you know what I mean? Especially you mentioned MC convention when we was off mic. I was up in all them parties. Do you know what I mean? So Fun was like, why don't you do drum and bass? Why don't you come and like fuck with the scene? Do you know what I mean? Like on a professional level. And I'm like, no, that's my fun music. That's what I enjoy going out raving to with my mates. It's almost like a release. I can just go and have fun there. Do you know what I mean? And he was on to me for a while about doing it. And I did jump up and do a few little things here and there. But I was knocking about with him, and I was also making hip hop with Skibba around that time as well, 2007, 2008. But we wasn't thinking about me jumping in the drum and bass scene. We were just making tunes, and it was more kind of hip hop stuff. But I said to Fun, I'll come carnival with you this year, innit, man? Because I used to love going carnival back in the day. So I went up there with him, and I was just going to watch him play. I think it was Trouble on Vinyl, that stage. And as fate would have it, Skibadee couldn't make it, and Skibadee and Fun were supposed to do the set. So Fun said, come on, you jump in on, man. And I was like, that's the deep end, right? This is like
Arsehole
end
gone.
of All Saints Road. This is like, you know, I've stood and watched the Shabbers and the Debts tear down this stage, man. It's like, even though I've done loads of stage work and I do my thing on the rap, I was like, oh, this is like, you know what I mean? Like you said, like squeaky bum moment, do you know what I'm saying?
Trust me.
So I was like, all right, cool. He said, we've got about an hour. I was like, all right, cool. Give me a couple of red stripes. Bang, bang, bang. Do you know what I mean? And a couple of red stripes. And then I went up there. And I probably had about 2 bars that I just wrote for fun, 2 drum and bass. I just wrote them for fun because you know what I mean? Like I just did it for fun. And then I had a lot of double time bars that I was doing on hip hop. So I spat a load of them.
And they fit.
They
They did fit.
Yeah.
They fit, man. And I went up there and I just got a rush from that crowd. That crowd went crazy. Like I think hardly anyone knew who I was. So sometimes when you're unknown and you get up and you go
deliver
off,
like that.
That feeling though, like when you're that moment you're talking about, as MCs, we know. I think most MCs will know that feeling. If you could bottle that feeling,
it's incredible.
You
It's
could
the
fucking sell that and you'd be minted.
It's,
Do you know
the,
what I mean?
it's the
best
greatest
buzz.
feeling, man. And I will say this as well, and this is one thing I'll say with hip hop and drum and bass. I was used to doing hip hop PAs, and people, they show love, but they're very much more nod your head, listen to the bars. Man, if you say a wicked lyric, they might go, bow, and like do a little reaction, but they don't go mad like a drum and bass audience. Drum and bass crowd, if you come in and spit the right lyric, like we say like a Shabba or a Skibba, when they come in, the place goes mad.
Yeah.
You know, back in the day it was horns, whistles, everything. Do you know what I'm saying? And that
Security used to hate it, boy. It's like fucking trying to control everyone. Like.
So it's a different reaction as well. So I never really had, although I got my accolades and my props in hip hop, I never had that sort of reaction that you were saying about bottling up that you get in drum and bass. That energy was mad. So I was like, when I came off that set, I was like, fun, I'm involved now, mate. I'm involved. What have I got to do? And he's like, right, I'm going to take you Syndicate next week. We went and done a show with Magistrate and Nickel. That was really cool, but it was a learning curve because I realised I needed more bars. Because it's hour sets, and it's like I was all right on Carnival for like sort of. I think we didn't do a whole hour. Do you know what I mean? Might have done it with 20 minutes or something. So I probably had enough for that, but I didn't have enough for it. So I thought, right, I've got to write. I've got to write.
Paper now.
Got to actually start writing drum and bass and thinking about the technical stuff. And Fun just basically said, look, just come round to my yard. You know what I mean? At the time, he was living up the road from me, and I was just round his yard probably 2-3 times a week writing bars with him. Non-stop lyrics. That's why we come with the bars, all about bars. We made that up together.
He's do you know what? Fun is the hook king.
Wicked. So many concepts he was coming with, man. And I'm someone, if you tell me a concept, I'll write off it.
Yeah.
So that's what we was doing. We was in the dojo. And then once I had sort of enough stuff, he was like, well, just come on the road with me, innit? So I think for about a year after that, I just jumped in the car with him. Any gigs he did,
he saw how it all worked.
Yeah, but he would also say to promoters, this is my boy, can he jump on the last 10-15 minutes? And a lot of them said yes, man, and big ones too, like Breaking Silence and Innovation.
So that was getting your name out.
They was all like, yes. So then suddenly I'm on these stages in front of 2,000 people, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It's going off.
Getting that work experience in.
And it's going off. And then Skibadee, Uncontrollable started getting really big at that point, which was the unit, Skib by myself.
So that's when you started doing Uncontrollable. I've got to say this, not sorry to butt in. Before I used to write, before I've always raved, right, since I was younger. Like I was one of them kids, I knew the bouncers, I could get in when I was 15 and I've always spat to hip hop, but then I used to love drum and bass, and obviously I grew up listening to SAS like the majority of us did in school with the headphones on, and
Sony Walkmans.
Tape
packs.
But I couldn't write, but I've always found it difficult to do the double time because I'm not really a double time MC. But then when I listened to Uncontrollable, somebody showed me, said, listen to these, and it just completely changed my whole view on the drum and bass scene, and that's when I first started writing.
I love that, man, because what we were trying to do was something different. We was trying to not just do rave lyrics, for instance. We were trying to come with stories, concepts, and what we was doing that was probably different. We would all write together. So we'd sit in the studio and literally every lyric would bounce off each other. And then we'd do it. And
you
then
can hear it.
Yeah.
When you listen to even like Unks in the coffee shop, or you can hear like how you have all sat about and had bust jokes when you're doing it.
Exactly that.
But it changed everything. And that's also like you created a Gizla. Do you know what I mean?
That's wicked. I love that, man. I love that.
I'll tell you another two as well who got me writing. Do you remember Red Alert back in the day? So you had fucking SMK and Spooker, Red Alert.
Oh yeah, of course.
And I felt like personally.
Sorry, man. Of course, big up them guys, man.
And they used to do that. Do you know, like Red Alert. But it was because of you lot. Where you had sort of come from back in the day when, like, we had this conversation before when back in the day it was all the double time and who could hold the flow but then you like come in and changed it with the lyrics. Do you know what I mean? And then that made people that didn't spit to drums like, rah. These are actually saying stuff.
Do you know another thing we did? And you mentioned the mixtape. This is something I was conscious of because like after a while I was jumping on these sets with Fun and that, and I was so anxious to hear the tape back or the CD back, and I was like, right, the mics are so low. You can't hear the bars, man. It's like, and I was frustrated by that. Do you know what I'm saying? So I said to Fun, I'm starting thinking on my hip hop vibe now. I'm like, Fun, we've got to apply the hip hop energy to this now and make our own mixtapes
with clarity.
With clarity, so the mics are exactly how we want them. You know, balanced up with the music, and then the ravers can play it all week in the whip and out and doing what they're doing, and then they come to the raves on Saturday and they know the bars.
Yeah.
And that was another little thing that made Uncontrollables kind of go there because we was like knocking out these mixtapes. You know how many we did, man, and Fun now has gone on and done bare bar ages. Like he's kept it going.
He's the mixtape king.
Yeah, he is. He's kept it going, man.
How many do you think he's done now?
Well, you know, we did, I reckon, Uncontrollable mixtapes and bar ages that I did with Fun, we probably did about 8 or 10 in the period we were doing it. But then he's gone on to do
bar rage.
Probably another... He's probably got 30 mixtapes under his belt. Something like that. Something like that.
Crazy.
I'm guessing, but...
Fucking is it? Like
I'm guessing, but he's definitely the mixtape king of drum and bass, man. But yeah, like you said, that made a real difference back then because no one was really doing it like that.
So from Uncontrollables, obviously you did your own thing. So how did the SAS start? Like, how did that all come about? How did that come about?
That's going a bit further ahead now because you're talking
2014.
2014. So that's Uncontrollables. I can't remember the year, but there was obviously sort of a little breakage with that. Do you know what I'm saying? You know, I remain friends with everybody at the time, and I still remain friends with everybody to this day, man. But there was a little split with the crew, man. Do you know what I mean? So that happened, and then I was doing my solo thing, and I was doing a lot. I always worked with Skibba. Like, I never ever. Probably weren't a week went by that I never was on the phone to him or like going to his yard to do stuff. Me and him always just did music. From the day we met, we just always did music.
He was a different kind of human, Skibbs was.
Yeah, 100%, man. So like, we were still doing a lot of stuff together, me and him. And then he was doing the last ever Area. There was a club called Area in Vauxhall.
Yeah, I remember that.
Legendary
Bangers
scene.
and Mash. Do you remember
Bangers and Mash, you know what I mean? And he was doing the last one, and he wanted a special set for that. So he was like, boy, why don't we do SAS? Like, 'cause obviously Stormin and Shabba, they're firing at the moment. So they was doing their thing together, but no one was really calling them SAS. It was just happened they was called Shabba and Stormin. You know what I mean? And then obviously the original SAS was
Skibber
and Shabba, you know what I'm saying? And before that, Shocking was involved as well. But
large up Shocking.
Yeah, because Shabba and Shocking, then it became more Skibber and Shabba. Do you know what I mean? But anyway, so Skibber was like, so Shotta, Skibber, Shabba, Stormin, and then Fantasy was promoting the party, so he would get him to DJ, but then we'll get two other young bucks who were coming up. So it's Mackie G and Alpha at the time, do you know what I'm saying? That came through and did the set.
Absolutely killing it at that time
exactly.
as well.
And it was supposed to be just a one-off set. And it was my fault, man. I had two other bookings that night. So all the guys had to wait till 5 o'clock to do the set. So I had to do two other things. So yeah, but we came on at 5 a.m. and boy, I'm not going to lie, man. I'm not even just bigging myself up or bigging the crew up, but we blitzed that place, man. It went off like
monstrous.
From it being like sort of a normal rave and it's good and it's 4 a.m. You know, sometimes it gets at 4 a.m. as well. And it just went up. Yeah. The whole thing went up. And then we was like, okay, that was wicked. And we just thought that was it. And then we got a call to do Westfest. Like Grant Slamming Vinyl was like, I heard it was wicked down at Area. I'll come and do Westfest. So he's like, wicked. We'll do another set then. So we went and done that. And then when we did that set, man, then the calls just started coming in.
I mean, look where that, like how that elevated. Like the stages that you man done. That was fucking mental. What was the biggest one that you've done with SAS?
Man, We've done some of the biggest festivals in New Zealand, Australia. We've done like some of the biggest things in Ibiza. Yeah. We even went to South Korea. And we've done a huge festival in South Korea.
You spat over Chopper in a chopper.
Yeah, but that was going.
Did you say that the helicopter?
Yeah, that was
over
mad.
Chopper as well.
Yeah, over Chopper.
We had to get. This was the crazy times we were doing, man. But the festivals wanted us so much. Reading wanted us so much. They got us a helicopter to come from SW1 festival because we wouldn't have made because of set times. We wouldn't have made it in the car.
So they sent a helicopter.
Yeah, so they
that's up there, mate.
This is what I'm saying, bro.
That's next level.
And it was like so. All that you said about the stuff we've done the Readings, we've done the Leeds, we've done Glastonbury. Do you know what I'm saying? We've
powerful, mate.
We've pretty much in that big period of SSES, we kind of ticked every box you'd want to do. Do you know what I mean? As an artist, and it was mad at Creamfields, all them places, because sometimes we were going on after people playing bassline or playing a grime set, Logan Sama or whatever. And there's a couple of times I was like, I wonder if the drums is going to go off here. Do you know what I mean? But it always did.
It's because it was you lot. It's because it was you could throw you lot into any probably kind of gig and it would go off just because it's them elements.
But the thing is as well, that's really good about you there is you're still searching for self-improvement when you could sit there and go, that's the pinnacle right there, I don't need to do any better. And you're still there out there trying to better yourself, like and trying to innovate and shit, which is
definitely, man. And obviously in that period we were making music, we was putting out SASS mixtapes as well. There's probably 3 mixtapes from us out there that people can go and check online and whatnot. And it was a mad time because there was a period, there wasn't really MCs in these festivals before that, man. Do you know what I'm saying? It was literally, you might get an Andy C, you might get a Wilkinson, you might get a Shy Effects, which is great. Yeah, which is great, man. But there wouldn't be 4 man going in.
No.
We was definitely the first to do that. The catalyst for it, and then after that, I mean, there was MCs doing that in raves. I'm not saying that we weren't the first to do it as a crew, because there's, shout out to Shadow and, the crews at Uncontrollables before that, and Higher Level and everyone, do you know what I mean? New Breed, do you know what I'm saying? So we wasn't the first to be MCs doing it in a rave, but I think we were the first to go into that bigger world.
To break that market.
Internationally. and do it, because I remember we had backlash as well at one point. We did the first we did Rampage, man, and big up Rampage. They were such big supporters of SAS. But the first time we were announced, we had a lot of people online saying, because Belgium is known for not really liking MCs.
Yeah. They're renowned for it,
it's just they don't really dig it.
They're just about the music. They don't really
it's
like
a different kind of vibe, isn't it, in Belgium? It's
very different, man.
Yeah, it's not they've elevated to like a place where they just like the rhythms and the raving ball, not like the culture that we've got over here. With like this, it's not the same, is it? It's different.
So we had a big backlash on their page and that. And we was like, oh no, man. Like we thought, like, okay, let's be smart about this. Let's go there and deliver a set where we're still ourselves, but we're not giving 100 bars. Do you know what I mean? On every tune, and we're letting the music breathe. And we won them over, man. We went over there and won them over. The set went off. There was massive love online about it. It got millions of views, and then the next year they invited us back again, which was unheard of for Rampage.
That's mad.
And we were allowed to be a bit more of ourselves then. Do you know what I'm saying? We was a bit more like we weren't holding back as much because we laid the foundations, man. So yeah, SAS did a lot, and then from that you started seeing other MCs more welcomed into the festivals and
definitely
opened
the
Rampages.
They did.
Yeah.
I think we kind of did, man.
So you were talking about Skibs, and obviously his. If you don't mind me talking about this, but his passing. You were very, you're very close. I think in an Instagram post you mentioned that you were inseparable. Yeah. How have you navigated that grief with loss of him? Because I don't think it's. It was very, very. When it happened, it was such a shock. I'd say. It was a shock. It was a massive shock because it wasn't something we saw coming. We knew Stormin was ill. Yeah, of course. So it was something we could almost prepare for, and it was at one point we knew it's going to be inevitable at some point when we were told by the doctors. So it was something you could prepare yourself for. With Skibs, it was out of the blue. Yeah, if you want to know the story of how I found out about it, literally, I got a call. We got the same agent, and he was like, "Can't get hold of Skibber for his booking tonight." I was like, Skibber don't miss bookings, man. I don't know what's going on. Okay, cool. He goes, can you go and do it? And I was like, yeah, but he's probably going to turn up. You know what I'm saying? Then I'm like, Skibs, I'm in Bristol. I'm doing your set. Sorry, man. Whatever, do you know what I mean? And I went and done the set with Distorted Minds, and he didn't turn up. And I was like, I messaged Fantasy, or he messaged me the next day, and he's like, did Skibs come? And I was like, nah, man, he didn't come. And I think we need to see what's going on now, because this is a guy that's done bookings his whole life. Do you know what I mean? Skibber don't miss bookings.
Missed the booking.
Exactly. And if he did miss it, he would have let someone know or hollered. So I said, you've got to see what's going on. So sent his brother around his yard, couldn't get in. So in the end, forced the door down, and then that's how they found him, man. Sadly, man. Do you know what I'm saying? And then we had the call, and I couldn't believe it when I got the call, man.
Yeah, it must have been something to, it must have been a moment that you obviously remember very vividly. Yeah. And everything leading up.
I remember exactly where I was, everything about that
I remember
day.
exactly where I was.
I do as well. It's like everyone knows, I
was on the way back from my stag do.
Obviously,
when you found that news yourself.
When it came on the radio, I was listening. It was in the car on the way back. And I was there, and I was like, "Oh my fucking god!" Yeah,
it was a Sunday, man.
Yeah, it was. Yeah, it was a Sunday.
I took the Monday off work, mate. I thought that's because it's like for me, that was. Do you know? I got a message from Mecca, Large Up Mecca, and he told me, and it was like that was like our superhero, bro.
Cool. It was, man. Yeah,
it was like losing a super. It was like losing Superman.
Idolising Skibs, you know what I mean?
Yeah, a lot, and so many of us did, even myself included. You know what I'm saying? I was, before I knew Skibs, I would just be, in total adulation of the way he'd hold down the stage, what he was doing, just as a rave. That's what I said. I used to go raving. I wasn't an MC in the raves. I was a raver. Yeah. So and then when I started working with him, all my mates, they did view him as a superhero. So they'd say to me like, "Does he drink tea? Does he do they just wanted to know?" I said, "Bro, he's a normal person."
Yeah, exactly.
But all they see is the myth on the stage.
Yeah.
The Skibber. Like you say, the superhero, Super Essen with the K. Do you know what I'm saying? So they only saw that. So that people was like, because back now you see everyone on social media, you get a bit more of who
their
they're
personal
about,
life sort of thing,
family and all that. But you didn't see that back in the day. You'd only see that man for the hour set on the rave.
Or you'd hear him on call.
Yeah, on call. Do you know what I'm saying? So you're right, man. It was like losing a superhero. The scene, lost a lot, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
I personally I feel like drum and bass has never been the same.
No,
there's been a massive sort of hole in it since he's passed.
Yeah,
that's what I believe, because I don't know if that's just the way that I feel, but I know a few people that have said that as well, that it doesn't feel the same as it did when because he was drum and bass.
He was. Yeah, exactly.
He was drum and bass.
And you know, the industry losing such a face is.
It was the charisma that he had and the way that he could carry a set,
stage presence.
And there's a I'll tell you what, there's a set that you probably know what one I'm talking about. You know, the Alchemist and Skibadee set,
yeah.
Right? And you know, I love that set, yeah. And you know why I love that set? Because he was forced into the host role on that set, and he fucking bodied it, bruv. And he showed you how to host a set, and that's like obviously mad ratings because he could just do everything.
And it's interesting you say that because there was a point when the music was getting very let's just say loud. The frequencies were like sort of a Mackie G sort of sound.
Yeah,
and he used to say to me, "Shots, don't spit over them rhythms, man. Just let them roll."
Yeah.
Because he goes, "You're going to get lost in it. Just let that one roll. And then when we get a roll up, boom."
Yeah.
So he was still teaching me. And this is like years on. He was still showing me things like that. And it made he just got that.
Yeah.
I'll be like, you know, this is a 16. I'm going, you know what I mean? Because that's what you naturally do. But he was like naturally studying the music and the way it was going. And he'd say to me, "Yeah, man, if you want a hazard set, rinse out, man." But like sometimes when them big Mackie tunes or even I never spit on a vocal anyway, but like, you know, certain tunes just, the sound of them, you don't need to spit on them.
Yeah.
Let it roll. Let the crowd, because back then crowds was singing along to them anyway. So let them do that. It's still a hype. Then come back in more impact, man. So he had this whole thing on lock, man. Do you know what I mean? Like, and you say that, like, you know, with Skibs, like, he had such a presence in the scene because he didn't just do his set and go. Say for Innovation in the Sun, if you ever went, he'd be everywhere. And he'd also do things like this. Such a kind guy, man. Like, he'd know if, like, I remember I was struggling one time on one of my sets because I've been doing so many sets that week and left the bloody aircon on. Aircon's terrible for your throat.
Yeah.
Do you know what I'm saying? And didn't have much sleep. And I was still doing the set, but he just could hear because he knows me. And he came up and just rolled the other half of the set with me, and it just made me be able to take my breaths and be able to.
Didn't even have to tell him.
And he knew. He just knew. He goes. I said, "How are you, one man?" He goes, "Nah, I heard, man." So I thought I'd just come up and just like.
And that's a friend as well.
That's a friend as well. Do you know what I'm saying? So
and you knew him on a personal level as well as a professional level as well.
Yeah.
How did you navigate that grief, if you don't mind me asking?
Like, I'll be real with you, man. Like, in life, I've had some losses. I've lost my dad. Lost my mother-in-law through cancer. Like, so I've had some real losses, man. But the Skibber one was definitely like the hardest to navigate because he was such a big part of everyday life for me. Like, literally. From when I met him, even before I met him, but when I met him, we never stopped recording, we never stopped linking up. So when that's just taken, it's just a void, and you're like, you even go to ring, oh no, he's not there. Like, do you know what I'm saying? It's like, it's because it's such a part of your everyday life.
It's like muscle memory, isn't it? You got to do things.
Totally, man. And trying to navigate that, I'm not gonna lie, bro. Like the first probably 2-3 months is. You know, a lot of tears, a lot of breaking down, a lot of like, even now I'm welling up a little bit. It was tough, man, do you know what I mean? And it's like, you've got to find strength. And I spoke at some of the events for the family and stuff and tried to find some strength through doing that and helping other people and reaching out. And sometimes it helps to talk to other people, isn't it?
Definitely, 100. This is what we try and push now. This is what we're trying to do now. And this is why we think it's so important. It's because everyone fucking holds shit in, man.
Yeah,
do you know what I mean? And then this is when the problems start. I'm fucking guilty for it, man. I hold so much shit in that I'll end up going on a mad one. Do you know what I mean? Like, it's just,
I've been guilty of that before.
It's a pressure
this time I was like, I can't do that. I know I have to grieve. So I wasn't even really, I still had to work. I still had to go and do shows, and everyone was talking about it and everyone was sad at the time. So I shared that with ravers, and that was quite good. I shared that with other MCs and DJs in the scene. So that was cool.
Because the ravers were just as hurt as well.
Exactly, man.
Which is mad, isn't it? Because like, obviously, as we were saying about the superhero aspect, that's because obviously when you go to a rave and you skibber one on the flyer, it weren't.
It's like,
do you know what I mean? It was like,
you was looking for the headliners all the time.
Of course.
I'm saying, so it was just a really, really sad time. I'm so glad that you've come here and spoke about that as well, man.
Yeah, man. And like I said, I would always go to music, and I didn't even really want to do music. And I was like, even SSES, it was like, you know, certain people were like, oh, we got Skibber and Stormin. They wanted us to carry the name through, and we was like, oh, should we even do that? Do we even feel like doing that? We just needed time, man. Especially myself. I just needed time to process process what was going on, and doing those first raves and him not being there, that was tough.
Yeah, I bet.
Because you just expect, you're so used to it, and I'm so used to the phone calls, and it was just a process of getting used to the fact that he's not here in the physical, but then sort of thinking, right, I've got to do as much as I can to carry on the work that he started with MC culture, which made me more passionate about speaking up about the MCs being left off things, and you know, just pushing the MC culture even more and more, and thinking, like Skibba was saying to me before he passed, and he didn't know he was going to go, so this had nothing to do with that we need to start looking at the youngers and like the ones you really like, start helping them and mentoring them and bringing them into shows, and you know, he was on that, so that's what made me look more towards working more with Wiser,
Westman,
more with Tiny K, Westman. Do you know what I mean? That kind of was a thought process that I thought, I'm going to get something positive out of this. That was something he wanted me to do, so I'm going to start doing that.
Start pushing a bit of a legacy that he left behind. You carrying it on.
Because he was so passionate about the MC thing, and he carried it on his back for so long.
Love that though.
Do you know what I mean? So I was like, all right, he's not here no more. I've got to kind of carry on that mission.
So is that
which gives you a bit of strength after the.
Is that where Mic Masters sort of come? Did that come off the back of that as well?
That was me and Shabba talking, man, and Fantasy as well. To be fair, just that we need to carry on the legacy of the MCs, because you know, drum and bass always evolves, and there's probably a certain style of drum and bass that isn't so suited to MCs, and that's fine. But I always just think there needs to be a balance.
Yeah, there does.
You know, there's a lot of people that like to go out and hear MCs over the music, and it goes really well with rollers, it goes really well with jump up. There's a lot of vocal stuff now that you only need a host, and that's cool, but there should be a balance, because that was the original origin of the music, and that shouldn't be lost. And if it's only one thing and the other side isn't being shown, and the kids coming up now, they're never gonna know, they're never gonna even want that, because they're not seeing that.
And that's what scares me, man, because that's what, you know, how passionate I am about fucking MC vocaling, and like, and it's just the cult. I feel personally like the culture is getting pushed aside a bit. It's different strokes for different folks, isn't it? So like, I love my minimal and dark, but then I can't. Minimal and dark doesn't really like MCs neither. Like, they like hosts. Do you know what I mean?
But I think you can find a balance with that. I think there's certain people. My man, he's on Instagram killing it. Envy. Yeah. He's great.
Yeah.
On that. Do you know what I'm saying? And you are as well. Yeah. There's certain MCs. GQ as well. Me and GQ done a record with Marky, man, and it was proper just rap flows. So it can work.
That was
that tune, innit?
That was sick, bro. I remember I messaged you, innit?
So it can work. It definitely can work on the deeper stuff as well. It's just as an MC, it's just adapting your style.
Yeah.
Like spitting how you spit in a Breaking Science on a jump up record,
completely
on that is not going to work.
Yeah, cool.
So you've got to flip your style to make it work.
I feel like I love doing my jump up sets, but I feel more comfortable doing. I belong in the darkness. I think I've always felt like
you got that tone that sits so good on
and
that.
Just,
that's
like,
the thing.
like fucking Envy, man. Large Up Envy. He's absolutely killing it at the minute as well.
He used to be called something else, right?
Teabags.
Yes, I had Teabags on my Rough Tempo show years ago, and I rated him very highly then.
Same. He's
super highly.
He's just cold, like
Godders as well, man. There's a few of them.
Family, bruv. Like fucking There's like an elite sort of inner circle, innit? And everyone knows about them. It's mad, innit? But I've been grateful to work with Godders a few times as well. So he'll just appear out of the blue and then just drop something cold and just disappear
and then again. Go again,
I'm still here, you bastard.
Because he actually won the Mic Masters competition, didn't he? He killed that,
so
man.
So cold, man.
Yeah. Mad, man. Yeah, this MC journey's crazy, man. You pick up a lot along the way, and you know, but going back to Skibba, man, massive loss. That's something that can't be replaced. Do you know what I'm saying? It was such an energy and such a powerful force that it can't be replaced. All I could say is that the passion that he put in and the work he put in, there's certain individuals like myself and Shabba and others, I even spoke to Det about it, we're trying to carry that energy on, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
And that's good,
all we can do.
Like
still flying the flag.
Exactly. You carrying that legacy on. And you did touch on Stormin, like you said, you had time to prepare for that, because obviously the skin cancer and that was like, I remember, obviously, I always followed, and I remember like the way, again, similar situation when he passed. It was like 2018. That was like I felt a bit like the loss as well with that, because again, such an influential. Yeah, exactly.
And he shared that journey.
And you'd
he
watch
beat
him
it
on
first. Don't forget he beat the cancer.
Exactly.
And then it came back, sadly. Do you know what I'm saying?
And you'd seen the deterioration through his Instagram, like of his physical deterioration. It was sad to see.
Really sad to see, man. But he's such a fighter. See that guy.
His energy, man.
His fight was amazing, and that's what carried him through. He was not going down. Like, do you know what I mean? He was going to keep
blazing away.
Of course, he's going to be blazing.
Care.
He never stopped blazing. And even there was like, you know, he got some really bad news one day, and we were supposed to be going to see Bone Thugs and Harmony. Me and him both loved him, innit? Like, we loved their flows and everything else, and he likes the melodies and all that. And I said, "Oh, do you still want to go?" He goes, "Of course I still want to go." But he had some really bad news that day. Do you know what I mean, about his health and stuff? And he's like, "No, of course I still want to go." But I remember that night he definitely wasn't more. He was very frail. Me and my mate, big up Danny Jungleist, man. A couple of people was bumping into him. We had to like say, "Come on, man! Like this." He's not very well, man. Please show some respect. You know what I'm saying?
So he still had that,
but he still wanted to come to the dance and see them. Do you know what I mean?
Which was the hype king, bruv.
He's super. That's the thing. I think in terms of crowd hype and the presence and all the dance moves and all what he brought to the scene was like
sick.
You know, and he got that.
He was a party.
Oh, an absolute party on a set.
Yeah.
Only good energy around Stormin. Do you know what I mean? But he's so funny as well. That's the thing. It's like sometimes MCs are quite serious. You know what I mean? Whereas he was always about jokes. He'd come in the dance with his big Busset glove. Have you seen it? Like a wrestling sort of glove.
And then you started seeing all the ravers with a Busset glove on.
Because ultimately people want to come and have a good time.
Yeah, and he was that.
I said about balance. There's some MCs who are dark and they've got dark bars, and I love that too. But when he'd come on, it'd be party time, and that was a nice balance.
Of course.
So what other people were doing.
He also had the depth though as well. Like he could talk about the things that he was talking about on, like, what was the last album that he'd done? The last one where
so much music
because near the end he just knocked out a massive arsenal of fucking projects. But he could really go into depth with like the sad, deep stuff as well.
Well, he was talking about his journey, innit, man? A lot of the stuff that he was putting out, like he was talking about this footage of him. There's a video on SBTV where he's actually in the hospital. And he's like literally spitting the bars there while he's going through treatment and medication.
Different kind of guy, mate. Like he's just fucking.
His fight was mad. And that's one thing I took from him, man. Like in your darkest hours, you just got to keep fighting because that's what he did right to the end.
Literally.
The epitome of resilience.
Yeah.
Without a doubt.
Yeah, the last time I saw him, he was still like trying to show me like Yellow Man videos and like he's a reggae artist from Jamaica.
Yeah,
look how he did this and look how he did that, and I could tell it wasn't long at that point. I might not see my friend again, but he was still trying to show me stuff, and he was still like
himself.
Yeah, exactly, man. Even though like he was finding it hard to talk and all sorts of stuff by that stage, man. Do you know what I mean? But he was still trying to live life.
Yeah.
In the time he had it, he wasn't sitting there going, "Oh, I'm gonna die,"
dwelling on it. And
do you know what I mean? He was like,
him.
"Every second I'm here, I'm gonna live." He's even posting on his Instagram right up until he was still active. Do you know what I mean? And still wanted to be living his life to the fullest level he could.
Inspirational, man.
Yeah, it is. Yeah. And in 2020, you released a track with Slips called "Stormy Weather."
Yeah.
Was that in some way influenced by your experiences with Stormin, or was
that one was just a Stormy Weather tune, man. So
I always wondered, just because obviously it's stormy weather.
Yeah, no, the tune where I spoke about Stormin is a tune called Growth. So if you check that,
which we've listened to as well.
Yeah.
Also, but you've just reminded me of something that we spoke about. You've done a track with Stormin, Insomnia.
Insomnia.
How can I never pronounce
Insomnia.
The one with it's got Shabba and Skibber on it as well. Yeah,
and it was literally about
talking about
trying to balance
the rave scene.
Yeah.
So how do you as Harry Shotta find that balance to be a full-time normal adult during the week and do what you do on the weekends?
I must say, man, like I said, I was a raver, so I kind of got it out my system in them days.
Yeah.
So by the time I got into MCing, into drum and bass, I wasn't really like wild anymore. I wasn't too like crazy like I was in them younger years. So it was more a thing with me. Alcohol was something like, you know what I mean, that I had to like not go over certain
limits
with it, because I'd get so excited and there'd be free, this is like, even before riders, you'd still get free drink. So I'd be like, what, free? What? Yeah, brandy and coke double, please.
I'll have free.
You know what I mean? And I never really got mash up on my sets, but there was a few times where I did like go over that level, and I thought, oh, right, like people actually watch me now. I did it at Carnival one year, man.
What,
and
someone too many?
Yeah, you know, but
We've all done it, man.
The thing was,
Do you know what I
I done
mean?
my set, and like, yeah, I was mash up, bro. I'm not gonna lie. I drank a lot that day, and I was mixing it.
But the thing is, you can still carry yourself like an absolute G. Like I've done one. I'll admit this. I don't care. I've done a set in Brighton for Agro's Subliminal. And you know what, I'm
Subliminal.
man.
It's a hard one. It is a tongue tie.
Subliminal.
Oh, fuck it. Just,
Wait.
yeah, all right.
Yeah, that one.
Rain check.
I drank so much. I was on set with Mystic and Cons, and I don't even remember the set. That's how fucking lick off I was. And I remember standing there, and I didn't realise how bad I was until Mystic looked at me and went, "This set's getting recorded, you know, bruv."
Oh, so that's a little thing you knew.
like,
then it's not. You're not delivering to
My
your.
pal Tom's in front of me, just going, "Do something." It was like I was just standing there. So like everyone's done it. Do you know what I mean?
No,
Is
Like,
that just the alcohol?
no, it's probably a lot of cocaine
Substance.
as well, man, to be fair. I'm open, I don't like, do you know what I mean? So a lot, I was buckled. I got to the rave far too early.
Yeah, I mean, that's what I'm saying. The temptation's there, and when you're enjoying it and everyone's on a good vibe.
Yeah.
Like I did that on a boat. This was quite an eye opener for me. I did it on a boat party, man, and everyone was giving me drinks on the boat, and it was my birthday, so it's a birthday boat party,
shit.
right?
Yeah.
But I did have another booking later on. So like I've come off the boat. I'm like, in my mind, I'm just gonna get a train because there's another booking in London.
yeah.
Shout out to Diesel. Diesel was like, "Nah, you can't get on the train. I'm gonna drive you to the booking."
Oh.
All right, so he got me to the booking. I remember being backstage. I remember I stopped drinking then, but I don't remember the set. It's the same thing. I do not remember the set. And I woke up on Sunday and I was so worried that this man's paying me money, man. It's a piss take for me to like go there. And if I was so worried that I didn't do what I was supposed to do on the set. And I actually got the promoter's number because it was booked through the agent. And I rang him and said, "Mate, I'm so sorry on Saturday if I didn't deliver a good set for you. I'll come back and do it again. Like, I'm really sorry." And he goes, "Mate, when you got on that set, you was absolutely fine."
This is what
He goes,
that.
"You rolled it out for the whole hour and it was wicked." He goes, "Off mic, I could tell you was waved. I could tell you was definitely waved. But when you got on that one, I was like, oh, thank God for
That's
that."
all they care
But it
about,
made me
isn't it?
think, right, I don't want to be in that position
Yeah,
again.
of
When you
course,
wake
yeah.
up feeling guilty and
It's
like,
horrible. It's
paranoid because
anxiety.
all of that.
All of that, man. It's
Anxiety.
fucking anxiety.
Until
innit?
I spoke to him, I was
Yeah.
feeling all those
Yeah.
things, man. Do you know
But
what
you're
I
in
mean?
the spotlight as well, so you've also got to think about where, like, how you're carrying yourself and stuff like that. So you're worried about how, if you can't even remember the night before, you're worried
Yeah.
like, shit, what was I like? You know, what was my stage presence
What
like?
did I say to someone? Like, because you know sometimes a drink will make you say some crazy stuff, and like if it's your mates, they kind of know and they laugh it off. But
Yeah.
you know, imagine you said something to an artist that he took offence to, or he was only a joke.
It was
but
banter or
Oh,
something.
it happens though. There's a lot of egos in this scene, man. You've got to be
Exactly,
very
man.
careful what you say to certain people.
Yeah, and with that carnival thing, someone actually took a photo and said someone had too much drinks and put it up on
No.
Facebook. And like all the big up the ravers, man, because like literally 100% of them was going, "What? He can't let his hair down at carnival? What? This
Yeah,
guy works week
yeah.
in, week out. Like,
It's carnival, man.
do you know what I'm saying? Do you know what I'm saying? So and big up yet again, Skibber. He rang up. He found out who. Cause it was an actual page. It was like it was a page where people put up things where people are mash up. You know, like
Shaming people.
It's that's the
Yeah.
kind of vibe.
I don't like
right?
that, man.
No,
Nah, man.
that's not good energy.
Bad
anyway.
energy, yeah.
Fucking let
exactly.
people enjoy
But
themselves.
Skibber found out who was the admin of the page, rang him up and said, "You need to take that down, man." And
Imagine
they took,
Skibber ringing you.
They took it down.
All right.
they took it down,
Of
man.
course they did. It's Skipper.
Yeah. So yeah.
But do you know what? Right, you like. I've only ever known of you through music, through anything you've put out. Meeting you for the first time, very authentic individual. Like, come across really like very humble for somebody that's got the accolades you got. You're extremely, grounded and stuff. How do you maintain? How do you maintain that? Like, and that.
Yeah,
How do you not let it get to your head?
Yeah.
being the man that you are.
Yeah, because it's
I
their
think-
ego. What we were just saying about
yeah,
their
and
ego thing.
everyone's got an ego, innit, man? Do you know what I'm saying? To a certain extent, it's part of like being an MC and whatnot. But like, I've always guarded against that. I've never wanted to be that asshole. I've
Yeah,
never
man.
wanted to be that guy that makes 1,000 demands and walks in a room and just is a nuisance. Or do you know what I mean? Because we've seen it with artists. I've never wanted to be that person, man. Do you know what I'm saying? So when people are giving you love and respect and admiration, they're telling you nice things. It can go to people's heads. You know what I'm saying?
100%,
And I've
yeah.
always been like, right, cool. I love the fact I'm getting this admiration. I'm going to use it to fuel me on, but I'm not gonna make me say that I'm the best now and I'm this. And I never say I am all the things that the other people say to me very kindly. I never want to be the one to say that. When someone says to me like a compliment, I'll be like, oh, that's for you to say, not for me to say, but big up.
That's nice, man.
Do you know what I'm saying?
Good, yeah.
But it can get to people.
Yeah.
I do
Where's
get
my
it.
fucking macchiato?
Yeah.
Like, do you know what I mean? You can fucking like...
I need that water chilled to 7 degrees exactly.
Because I've seen them kind of people and been like, oh, it just makes me cringe.
Yeah.
Where's my special chair?
I've never wanted to become that. Do you know
Diva,
what I'm saying?
basically,
I never wanted to be
Diva,
seen as
innit?
that.
Like-
Do you know what I'm saying? And it's like the way my mates and the way I've grown up, I've never wanted to change. You know what I mean? I never wanted like people that have known me years ago to say, oh, you blew up in the drum and bass scene and you're different now.
changed,
I want people
yeah.
to say, oh, he's exactly the same as he was when
Yeah,
he used to
man.
hang around biting back records in Gray's Inn, drinking a special brew. Do you know what I mean? I want
Special brew.
you know what I'm saying?
Old
Like, we used to, that's what we used to do. We used to freestyle in the park, man. We used to do all of that. Do you know what I mean? And I want those because I do still see them people sometimes now. They're all grown up with kids and that, but I see them in the gym or I see them when I have to go to town and that. And like, I want them to say, oh, he's the same.
Yeah.
He's
Yeah.
the same
He
as he
ain't
was when he was
changed.
17, 18. Do you know what I mean? Like,
That's good. I mean, that's exactly it. Though you again, that then doubles down on your authenticity as a person as well. You know what I mean? That you don't want to have that image changed of what you
No.
are and what you're about.
and I think having good people around, keeping your like original heads around you as well,
It keeps you grounded.
That people can
Yeah.
tell you, oh, you was chatting shit last night, bruv, or like, you know what I mean?
You can take it
or
off them.
even, oh, you didn't have the same energy on that set. What, you didn't get much sleep last night? Do you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah,
I want that.
little bit of banter
I
around.
want that because I want to. Yeah, actually, maybe I should have done better. Do you know what I mean? Or yeah, maybe I didn't speak too nicely to that person. Let me give him a call, whatever. Do you know what I mean? Because we all make mistakes. We all have our flaws, and it's good. It's good to have people around you sometimes to tell you that.
You
and to
need the
keep
real ones
grounded.
around you because otherwise you get like, you know how it is. I think we spoke about this the other day. You've got different friends for different things. So you know that one friend that you can talk to is going to be fucking brutally honest with you.
Yeah,
But then
yeah.
you've also got other friends that are always going to agree with you.
That will,
Do you know what I mean? So
They'll
it's- you
inflate you a little
need
bit.
the real ones around you.
Of course.
Yeah,
Otherwise you're just...
you don't want like a whole bunch of yes men around you.
And
man,
that's what I'm
ever that.
saying.
Yeah,
And that's what happens with some people. Do you know what I'm saying? So you do definitely need the fucking real ones around you, like to keep
Yeah.
you grounded, as you say. 100%.
man.
I'm going to move on to something else as well now. So going into what you're now moving into music-wise, your upcoming album, Odyssey, under high focus.
Yeah.
Unreal.
Yeah, mad, bruv. I was so gassed. Like,
I know, you
Yeah.
hit me up, man.
I was so gassed. Because I feel like this is you now. Now we're getting to see who Shotta is now. The real Shotta.
You know, Kasha said that to me as well. Kasha's known me for many, many years, man.
Yeah.
And he actually said that to me. He goes like, the scene now is getting a side of you that I've seen because I knew you back then,
yeah.
but a lot of the people in the scene have never seen this. They just know the Animal, Guinness World Record, SSS, like it's double time and all that, but they don't know your
the
personal
levels.
story. They don't know how you can spit on hip hop. They don't know how you can be versatile with it. So this is like a big moment, man. Definitely.
So what pivoted that movement back to hip hop? Was it just you felt like you need to now go back to your roots a little bit? You feel like you've achieved so much in the drum scene, and now you're gonna kind of give the listeners something else to.
Do you know what it is,
cut
man?
their
Like,
teeth into.
as much as I love drum and bass, and I think nothing can match its energy in terms of live. It's the best thing in the world for live. Mostly, I actually listen to hip hop, innit? I listen to a lot of sort of like stuff like Conway and Benny the Butcher and Ransom and those sort of artists, like real lyricists, man.
Yeah,
like,
love Conway,
and I
man.
love that sound they do as well. So when I'm out and about, that's what I'm listening to. And I was saying for years and years and years, I need to make kind of my ultimate hip hop project. I need to do it. I never did it. And yet again, you know, one thing I learned from the Skibadee situation is you are not here. You don't know how long you're here for, I should say. Do you know what I'm saying? You never know. And like once I kind of processed that grief and came out the other side, I'm like, no, I've got to make that album, man. I've got. If I do for whatever reason, go tomorrow or go in the future, at least I've got this body of work that totally someone can listen to me. That's Harry Shotta.
It epitomises
That's what he's
you.
about. Do you know what I'm saying? And that's what I wanted to create with this album. And because it was going back to hip hop, I think High Focus have just done a sterling job in this country of
it's just emigrated. It's just emigrated. All the hip hop's just emigrated to High Focus.
Yeah.
The hip hop that we grew up on
Yeah.
with the boom bap and the 90s sound
Yeah.
and everything that they stand for and do for me, that is hip hop.
Yeah.
Like, fully. So large up, high focus.
Nah, big up them guys, man. Because the reason it all came about was because they asked me to do their Christmas party. And I was like, what, you want me to come and do hip hop? And they're like, no, we got that all night. We want you to come and do drum and bass at the end. So me and Iron Lung went up there. We did a set where we was taking sort of like, say, 16 of a Kalashnikov tune and going into a drum and bass drop, things like that. So it kind of had a...
Lung giving it his little...
Yeah, exactly, man. And it went off, man. Like Skinny Man jumped on stage, started busting up drum and bass. Yeah, Leaf Dog did as well from the 4 Hours. And I just thought, wow, this is like, this high focus audience, they like drum and bass.
They do.
Yeah.
There's a synergy with us and them. So like, and I like hip hop. So it's like, why don't we bring the two worlds together? I rang up Flip Tricks, who's the owner of High Focus, and that was kind of my vision. And he was like, yeah, let me chat to the team, man. The team was like, yeah, this could be amazing, man. Let's get this project rolling. So I started working with mainly their producers at first, King Kashmir, Leaf Dog.
Oh, Leaf Dog, his rhythms, man.
Mate, incredible.
Brothers of the Stone.
Incredible,
cold.
man. Incredible. And we did probably about like 6 to 7 proper boom bap sort of tunes, which was my initial thing, and they was like, but you know what, there is obviously another side to you, so we need to get you in with some other producers that can produce some more sort of genre blurring stuff, so you're spitting over like stuff that isn't like dance floor jump up drum and bass, but it's still got the jungle element to it, or it's still got a grime element, or it's 140, or you are showing double time, because that is a huge part of your journey. Obviously you started on hip hop, but like you say, from 2008 2009 you've been ripping up the double time, you've been ripping up the drum and bass, and people know you for that, and they're going to want that as well. So we got a good balance with that on the album, man. Do you know what I'm saying?
Hence the new release with Rag and Bone Man as well.
Because that is like, I mean, how would you? What's the genre of that beat? Because it's not drum and bass, not grime. It's a mixture. It's like it's a blurring
like
of genres.
140-ish.
But I can spit that. But the bar I can spit that on drum and bass.
Yeah, because it's just catered for you. Yeah. It's just your genre. Do you know what I mean? Like, and hearing Rag and Bone Man drop bars as well.
Yeah,
it's mad.
Because Rag and Bone Man, for me personally, he got me out of a lot of dark times listening to Rag and Bone Man. Like when I was in like active addiction, and when he pulled me out of that slump. Do you know what I mean? Like because he's out of singers, and that, well, he's just a blues man, isn't he?
Yeah.
Like through out and out, he's a blues guy, and listening to him and the struggles that he had, and talking about the things that he was going through with his baby mum, and you know what, the album was, what was that album? The first we had, he's had so many, like, but yeah, he pulled me out of that slump. So when I saw that, what you've done with P Money and Rag and Bone, I was like, oh my God, bro. I felt like like a proper fanboy moment. I was just
I was a bit of a fanboy getting him on the tune, because he's a UK legend. He's not just a UK legend, he's a worldwide legend in music.
Yeah. He's so powerful, his voice, man.
Incredible.
You know what I mean?
And he's just done things that just amazing things in music. Do you know what I'm saying? So the reason that come about actually was because he messaged me, I think it was during lockdown, and just out of the blue, Twitter, it's more like Twitter then rather than Instagram, and he was like, yeah, man, like, I'd love to work with you at some point. And I'm like,
Rag and Bone Man.
Rag and Bone Man. This brightened up my boring day in the pandemic.
Like, you've been hacked.
So I was like, but and that never happened for whatever reason at the time. I said, yeah, man, I'll come to your studio, whatever, and he didn't get back to me.
Yeah, but the seeds were planted.
That's man.
It, yeah.
And then when we basically started the tune, so I started the verse on that tune. Then I thought P would sound sick on it.
Yeah.
P murdered it.
He sounds sick over anything.
Oh, he killed it,
it's
man.
It's his whole cadence and his flow, and I've always looked at P Money like he's got a digital flow. Like he sounds, the clarity of that man's voice.
Yeah. Bar for bar, I rate him as one of the best MCs in the business, man. And that's not even UK, US. That's like MCs.
Yeah.
What he can do is just
and what he's done with
talent.
Wiley in this,
amazing.
They've just bodied it. Like,
killed it, man.
What they've done, what he's come in and like. There was a bit, you know what it's like with a lot of the ravers, these fucking grime MCs coming over, but no one said nothing about P Money, bro.
No, because he can come in and do it at a high level. Like you do see sometimes, people just think they can jump on drum and bass, and they haven't studied it, and they don't understand how I had to learn loads of things.
But what people don't realise is a lot of the grime MCs grew up on Cool FM.
Exactly.
Like if you read like D-Double-E,
Dizzy Rascal.
Like even Target's book, when you read, is it Grime Kids? Like Target's book.
Target was a jungle DJ.
He talks about, he said they was sort of him and Wiley and them, man, he said they grew up listening to Depp, to Skibadee, and he said
Cool FM,
but he said they was too young to go raving, so they had to wait till they done little things at Victoria Park, and then he said then it was like looking at your superheroes. flows. He said, like, and that's coming from the grime. So when people say that about the grime MCs, I'm like, bruv, they're part of the foundation.
That's why Kano regularly, if you listen to Kano's music, he mentions Shabba and Skibba a few times in his bars.
I've dubbed MC Ray, was it every
that's
year?
on Power as well.
MC Shabba.
Yeah.
That's
on a big tune. But
so they still show their love for it.
Yeah, because that's what they grew up. I've spoke to Bruiser, all these guys, they've like literally come up on the drum and bass scene, you know what I mean?
Go on, do it. Get me! Get me!
Yeah.
Channel U days, mate.
Yeah, man.
Yeah, Bruiser's wicked, man.
Trust me.
We're nearly up with that hour. I feel like we should have booked 2 hours for
We have to do a part 2, man.
If you're down for a part 2,
I'll say it here and now. We'll do a part 2 because I've enjoyed the conversation. It's good to talk about this stuff, man. Do you know what I mean? Like you don't get to talk like this every day, all day.
Yeah,
you know what I mean. So it's good to talk about it, man.
Especially doing what you do, you have to normally. It's just normally about the music and stuff, and we're trying to do like we're trying our hardest here because there's a massive elephant within the scene that no one's talking about, and it is about mental health. Like, and there's a lot of problems within the scene.
And people coping with, the substance abuse and
it's
alcohol
an
abuse.
escapism.
Because it's very, it all goes hand in hand.
It's a thin line, isn't it, between enjoying a drink and then enjoying a drink too much. And then my thing for me is like I stopped drinking alcohol in the week, and that's not now and again if I'm meeting with someone and we'll have a Guinness or something. But I'm talking about I used to be quite bad when I was young with alcohol, man. Do you know what I mean? And I would drink like
as we all were,
a third of vodka like on a Tuesday night. Do you know what I mean? And it's just like and smoke a load of weed and that. But like I kind of got out of that, and now I think it's important to almost find vices that are better for you.
Yeah,
like I love gym now, innit? I love running.
Yeah.
That's good for me.
Yeah, What's your personal best? What's your personal best now?
My longest run is 22 kilometres, man.
Go on, G.
So that's pretty cool, man. I ran
22 metres. I'm blowing out fast. I like weight training, but I'm a heavy set lad. Like weight training for me is the way forward. But
I don't even run for the train.
I love that as well, though. Yeah. I've got more into that. I was in lockdown. I got really into running and more cardio, and then since it's been a thing. Like I did a massive cut as well, and like after I went the cut, it's more muscle building.
Look good
now.
shape.
Yeah, you look fucking healthy.
But now it's like I'm more on the muscle building now because I managed to cut the weight off, and then now it's about a bit more of a muscle build.
When you lose, like when you cut, everyone looks ill when they first cut.
So people were saying that to me. They're like, "You all right, bro?"
Yeah, but you look really healthy. But now you're packing the muscle on.
Yeah, because I've put on probably about a stone since the cut now, but it's mainly muscle. Do you know what I mean? So yeah.
Well, that's good, man. I mean, like I say, that's a vice that you're going to take with you into old age as well.
Yeah, just healthy living, man, and like also music as well. I'm still addicted to music, bro. I still get so excited if I get an instrumental sent to me that like I'm passionate about, and you know what I mean. I never lose the passion for the music and the love for it. And these are good vices. Do you know what I mean? They're not going to harm me.
Like having that passion for something you do. My dad said to me years ago, "Love what you do, and you'll never work a day in your life." And you are hands down the epitome of that.
You're doing what you're
still love what you're doing.
Yeah, that's a great saying, man.
Yeah,
I love that
because it's true, isn't it?
Yeah, it's true. Yeah. So look, we're going to have to get you back on for round 2.
There's probably so much more to talk about.
There's so much more.
Yeah.
But what I'm going to ask is just moving forward and looking ahead, what legacy do you hope to leave in the music industry?
Yeah, the legacy...
It's quite an open question. So
yeah, the legacy I want to leave behind when people look back at Harry Shotta is someone who maintained his integrity, someone who didn't sell out for a pound coin, someone who was able to lay some foundations and bring up the next generation and to people to learn off what I did and take it even another step further. I just want people to look at me as a positive role model as well. Someone that came from struggle and certain hardships and turned it all around through music. And that's why I've tried to document that, especially on the new album, that music saved me and it can be a saviour for so many people, because I've worked with young people in workshops and community centres as well, and I've seen how music can change their life around. I've seen how some people have gone jail for doing madnesses. Nice kids I've worked with, but they went down that road. And then the people who used to be their mates have gone in to become youth workers because they went down that road. And I've seen that, and I just want to be a positive influence that people can look at me and be like, there is a way that you can go from just spitting in your bedroom to doing it on some of the biggest stages in the world. I just want to inspire that next generation, man.
They can be done, they can do it themselves.
Because it is possible, man.
Sick, mate. Yeah,
it is possible.
Well, I think we'll wrap it up now. We're going to have to get you back in because I've got so much more on this laptop.
No, we'll do it, man. We'll do it, 100%.
But thank you so much for coming down, mate. It's been a pleasure to have you.
No, it's been wicked. It's been good to talk to you guys, man, definitely.
No, it's been really good, mate. So thank you so much. So I think we'll wrap it up there. So the one and only Harry fucking Shotta in the place, mate. Right.
200.
Cheers.